This really is the top match of the day in the Stones Bidder Championship from Odsal Stadium. It's Bradford Northern against St Helens, and Bobby Goulding gets this match underway. First touch for David Watson, running it out from behind his own posts. He makes 12 metres ground before he's hauled down. Donahue was the dummy half, setting Bradford Northern away down the right-hand side. There is Donahue again.
With that one, the rain driving down, the kicking game will play an important factor. There it is, he lost it completely, dragged it back.
Got away with it. So Adam Fogarty will drive the ball into the Bradford Northern half of the field. Beavers is the dummy half. There's Goulding, now Neil. Putting his shoulder into it once more. The last thing that Bradford need today is another defeat, having been beaten for the first time this season at Warrington last Friday. Coming in from Neil Summers that hauled the big centre down. Now Pickavance. Referee gives St Helens a penalty.
Interference there from Fairbank. You'll see the arms go right in for the football at the last minute. There it is. Right arm whipping the ball away right in front of the referee, David Campbell.
Interesting comment, Steve-O, from Bobby Fulton, the Australian coach, in the newspapers this morning, that Great Britain will have to clean up their act in that department. Still going and hauled down. That's the last tackle. Just 3 metres short of the line of St Helens. Beavers back to Goulding. Little dab through by Goulding, but well picked up by Watson.
He read that well, didn't he, the New Zealand fullback? It was a nice little kick through from Goulding, but Watson was equal to the task. But a good opening stanza there from St Helens. They're keeping this ball alive. There's a kick. Wasn't it picked up well?
Bradford second in the table, St Helens third. Neither team really can afford a defeat here today. Bourneville with that run.
And a much better run there from the Kiwi prop forward. It was lacking against Warrington last week.
Half chance there for Neil Summers. Quickly closed down by Cooper and Pickavance. There's Derek Fox. Fox being harried by Bobby Goulding. A good kick too, because it means that Alan Hunt will have to run this ball out, and Bradford will look for a mistake from the Great Britain hopeful. Strength, Scott Gibbs.
Good thinking as well from the former rugby union man. He noticed there was no one there at the dummy half. Went in with a lot of gusto. Some pretty big hits out there. That's good defence from Bradford.
Burbank and Powell surrounding John Neal and pushing him back 10 metres. Goulding finds Chris Joint. And Chris Joint slips away from one tackler. And Bradford desperate to bring him down, which they do on the halfway line.
In a real purple patch, isn't it, Chris Joint? At the right time, too. We need him in the Great Britain squad.
Goulding's kick. And that will also catch the little hill in the corner. That will not run dead. Goulding following up. And he drags Myers down. Tremendous kick and chase from Bobby Goulding.
Not only that, once they'd done the tackle, they came back away from him so that it could allow him to play the ball quickly, whilst all the Bradford players were running back into a position. Good thinking.
We mention it every time we're here at Bradford, but if you notice the corners of the stadium here, they do rise up over the speedway track, and the speedway was in operation last night, and so these corners have been placed only this morning. And you notice also, I'm sure, that some of the turf lifted as Goulding made his tackle. Meanwhile, Bradford have a penalty, stealing the ball in the tackle. Yeah, the arm of Scott Gibbs.
Scott Gibbs, left arm, pushing the ball away from Fairbank. Was looking towards to get the ball away, but the former Welsh Rugby Union star cheekily pushed the ball away. That's a bad penalty to give away at this point in time. Saints were just getting into the swing of things. This will really relieve the pressure from Bradford.
Fox with the penalty. 7 minutes gone. 0-0. Derek Fox, unlucky also not to be named in the Great Britain squad, but we have quite a few informed scrum halves. Meanwhile, St Helens all offside. Moving up far too quickly.
They never went back the full 10 before the ball was played.
Bourneville with the drive. He bounces off the chest of Ian Pickavance. Donahue to Roy Powell, changes the direction of his run, but he didn't fool the two prop forwards, Neil or Fogarty. Donahue there again. Bradford 10 metres short of the line. Fox tries to alter the direction of the attack, and Carl Hall makes a bit of a meal of it. Carl Hall filling in for the injured Paul Newlove.
Well, they made a real mess of that set move. It was a switch back inside from the little halfback Derek Fox. It normally is intended for David Watson, but David Watson came too tight. The ball just popped nowhere.
Griffiths. Good defence there from Watson. He moved up very quickly. Derek Fox has dropped back now to be the Bradford Northern sweeper. Lachlan is grounded. Viva's the dummy half.
Few problems in the Bradford defence, especially around the play of the ball area. That's two occasions that Saints have made some good yardage from a quick play of the ball.
Three men combined to bring John Neal down. Jonathan Griffiths on a little run from dummy half on his own. They were more alert to that then, particularly Roy Powell. Vivas looked to get the ball away, but in the end had to kick to the corner himself. Myers picks it up. He gets away first time from Cooper, but the St Helens captain recovered well. Watson to Summers.
Playing with a lot of confidence, St Helens. The kicking game down into the corner. The chasing game is equal. They really are on fire at the moment.
7 matches unbeaten. They're aiming to leapfrog Bradford and claim second spot. Powell and his Bradford colleagues, though, will have other ideas about that. Derek Fox, Burbank back to Fox and Powell. He was almost caught unawares then. Managed to retain possession, though, but that's the last tackle. They didn't make any ground whatsoever then. They might now with that kick from Donahue. And again, that drifts in towards that corner, the raised section. Good kick, doesn't run dead. Sullivan will have to run it out. Donahue following up with Derek Fox.
Beautiful kick by the hooker. Formerly a half-back, Jason Donahue. It didn't make any difference these days, did it? Seemed to prop anybody in. There we see Vivas, makeshift hooker again.
Pickavance hauled to the ground. This is his 30th consecutive appearance for St Helens. Now Fogarty. Fogarty swatting the tacklers away, but Derek Fox stuck to his guns well then. Griffiths nips into dummy half. Bobby Goulding anxious to get on with it. Cooper to Joint. Good run from Joint. Good tackling by David Turpin. His first appearance of the season, the Bradford winger. And this time Goulding will drill the ball along the ground, and he finds touch.
Nice kick from Bobby Goulding. He's in fine form too. Selected in the Great Britain squad, but that was the first time that we'd seen Bobby Goulding really take on the attack. It was a beautiful little delayed pass that created the half gap for Cooper, who in turn fed the second rower Chris Joint.
Shane Cooper came darting out of the scrum far too quickly. The ball has got to be clear of the scrum.
See quite clearly that Cooper had peeled away. You have to have your head well and truly in before it clears the last line of the ruck.
So Bradford with the opportunity to build another attack here with Burbank. Pickavance, Joint, Vivas bring him down. Dixon now. Paul Dixon, 31-year-old, former British international. Played in the 1988 and 1990 Ashes series. Heron. Grounded 10 metres inside the St Helens half of the field. Fogarty only just allowing him to get up in time. Fox just dinks the ball over the top. Chance here for Prescott to run away from Burbank, which he does. He has been in great form, the 20-year-old St Helens fullback. It's a good chase in the end, though, from Myers and Fox.
Good passage of play, both in attack and defence. You can see how Prescott just delayed it and stepped at the right moment when Fairbank came to him.
Vivas finds Neal, and he releases the pass as he falls, but the referee says it's a forward pass. Vivas is amazed. He can't believe it. It was the first one, I think, that he's ruled on. That one.
Well, it looked all right to me. Fair and square, the big prop forward, Jonathan Neal, coming onto it. Beavers couldn't believe it. The crowd went up in unison, forward. Touch judge followed suit.
Just had a little glance at his touch judge, did David Campbell. Here's Carl Hall. Bradford in possession then, courtesy of the forward pass.
That looked all right by mine.
Bourneville. He's halted. And he falls eventually. Oh, and John Neal's lying all over him. Fairbank.
Well, in wet conditions, surely Derek Fox will opt for one little grubber. Anything can happen on the slippy surface.
It's with Fox. He's put it back to Summers. Summers saw a little gap. And the door was closed. Fox is standing back away. Here he is now. No kick yet. Heron to Watson. Scampering little run from Watson.
Pretty high.
High from Joint. Referee says play on. It's now with Fox. Long ball out wide. They've got men out wide. But they couldn't get the ball out to David Turpin.
This is the tackle. It looked pretty high to me on both counts. Both Fogarty and Joint. They really did go high then. I thought they were lucky boys. But Fraser couldn't get the ball out wide. The Bradford centre. Chance went begging.
Pickervan straightening up. Heron is there and Powell too. 14 minutes gone, still 0-0. Bradford with a very proud home record, have now won their last 7 here at Odsal, that including the back end of last season, and 4 wins from 4 starts here. Goulding's kick over the top.
Quick play of the ball, gave him all the time in the world, really. That's been a highlight of Saints' play so far in this game. They're eager to get up and get on with the game. And it's catching Bradford's northern defence on the backward step.
Little smile from Bobby Goulding. Let's take a look at the head-to-head. 40 matches, St Helens have an overwhelming advantage in First Division meetings between these two. Exactly twice as many victories for the Saints. Big game this for both these sides. Lots at stake. Heron, of course, the last full weekend of the Stonefitter Championship before the Test match at Wembley next weekend, when everything is cancelled, so as we can all get down to Wembley and support the cause. I hope many of you who are watching tonight will be there. And then, of course, the week after on Sky Sports, we return with Hull against Wigan on the Friday, and Wales against Australia on the Sunday. Our look at the Kangaroos, the international from Ninian Park. We're all looking forward to that. Sullivan's grounded. Quarter of an hour just over gone. Prescott. Still Prescott. Good little run. Steve Prescott, his dad Eric, he scored 2 tries for St Helens against Leeds at Odsal in the 1970 championship final. A young fullback from very fine rugby league stock.
Well, you can see the difference in the two sides so far is that Saints are making that ground. Craig Bradford, they don't seem to get over that advantage line at all. Very slow to take on the forward pass.
Goulding to Hunt, and Hunt with the headgear on this week. Took a crack on the head last weekend, you may remember. In the win against Leeds, Goulding's dink over the top was watched perfectly by Powell, but credit Goulding for the chase.
Did well, did Powell, to prop forward to get back there. Not so sure whether Powell was having a little bit of a breather. Oh, that's a bad pass in heavy traffic.
Fox was just trying to lift the pace. As it is, he has knocked the ball forward.
Far too many people around to trying to get a pass away of that.
I don't know whether that was knocked forward, honestly, and it came off a St Helens player.
Should have been play on. There's the ball, hit the ground, it came off the player's leg.
And what's more, it went backwards, the pass.
Still, Saints do get the feed and the head.
And possession with Goulding, who gets it out wide to Sullivan! And Sullivan scores! Well, you take your chances, you make your luck. And St Helens, they got away with that. Decision by referee Campbell, and Anthony Sullivan in for his 6th try of the season.
Bradford were caught there. They were wheeling the pack to the open side. That meant that the loose forward was still in it. David Heron. It allowed the overlap. And Anthony Sullivan in for a great try. That was well worked. They knew they were going to go the blind side. There's a loose forward. You can still see Heron still parking himself in the pack. There was nothing that they could do about it. There was only Fox and the winger there to stop that man, and they couldn't. Super peeled away. That meant that Fox was left with 2. The poor wingman, David Turpin, there's nothing you could do about that. He had to make a move for Goulding. The gap was there. The try was scored. Well worked.
Anthony Sullivan, that is his 50th try for St Helens. Bobby Goulding then. 31 goals for the little fella this season. Difficult conditions for the goal kickers today. 20 metres out. Just about 10 in from the touchline. Hits the post. That's hard luck. Bradford 0, St Helens 4.
David Heron is arrowed there. He's still in the pack there, hanging off onto the outside. On the blind side, they've created it with Cooper peeling away. Beautiful pass from Goulding. That is a very well-worked try.
So Fox restarts, and that bounced off the knee of Cooper. He is claiming it didn't touch him, but the touch judge absolutely right. The St Helens captain trying to fool everybody then, but he didn't fool the touch judge.
Well, I think you might be wrong, Eddie, on this occasion. The touch judge has deemed that they never touched it. So that'll be a St Helens head and feet.
Well, you're right. It looked as though it touched his knee to me.
You mean my eyes are better than yours, Eddie, today?
Yes, I didn't clean the contacts.
That'll be a change.
This is Scott Gibbs now. Lovely run from Gibbs. Oh, and Steve Prescott fell over the referee.
He touched the referee, interfered with play, tried to get out of it, so that means it'll be a scrum down. Feed to St Helens. The crowd can go bananas as much as they want. But the ball or the player touched the referee, and he means that he'll have to bring back the scrum down. But what a great break from Scott Gibbs. Prescott was on the inside. He interfered with play. That is good refereeing there from Campbell.
He said immediately it was my fault. He awarded St Helens head and feed. The Bradford supporters, I can tell you, on the terracing just below us, did not like that decision.
Well, that'll bring a smile to Greg McCullum, the new boss of the referees, just arrived from Australia. Now that the merry whistleblowers do have a leader, I might start liking them.
Pick of Ants into the danger zone for St Helens. Vivers the dummy half. Goulding to Cooper. Vivers to Goulding, a one-pointer from Goulding, and he kicks it. Hit the post a few moments ago with his conversion attempt. Straight between the timbers this time.
Well taken one-pointer. Bobby Goulding realising that in heavy conditions this could well turn out into be a slogging match. Not much opportunity perhaps to use the three-quarters. It's very slippy out there. He realises the importance of that extra point. It could prove vital late in the game.
It could indeed. That's his 3rd drop goal of the season. Vivers, the dummy half to Fogarty. And Bradford Northern preparing to make a change. John Hamer is about to be introduced to Eugene Bourneville when the next break in play comes along. Vivers on his own from dummy half. He's got Hunt waiting, and Hunt now receives it. Hunt then cuts in field, pops the pass up over the top. It was risky, and Sullivan just waited for it, and Frace clattered him.
Adventurous play from the hooker, Phil Vivers, though. They're creating a lot of problems for this Bradford defence. Quick play of the ball.
Interference at the play of the ball then. But the referee says it's a forward pass.
Well, he's got him for a knock-on, but there was definite interference. He wasn't standing square at the play of the ball. How can the man be... Wasn't even in front of the man there. Lordy, lordy. I give a bit of praise to the referee, and he loses his marbles. I take it all back.
Hamer comes on, and Bourneville is withdrawn. Bourneville, who began the day with his right knee heavily strapped, and he's looked to me as though he's been carrying the right leg from the very first whistle. So Hamer is on.
We saw him at the warm-up, Eddie. He didn't look all that fresh, did he? Appeared to be limping even at that time.
John Hamer in his benefit year, though, getting the chance to impress here. Dixon, Paul down, Loughlin and Joint. Donahue in at dummy half. Fox drops it. Took his eye off the ball, under no pressure, an unforced error.
Well, we keep mentioning that it's quite slippy out there. You have to make sure of this possession, so vital. Both sides will tire late in the game. Pretty heavy out there.
Derek Fox is a man on the threshold of an achievement too. He needs just 3 points for 500 in Bradford Northern's colours. Hunt, his strength takes him 10 metres into the Bradford half. 7 handling errors already. Bradford have made 5 of them. Goulding, good ball that to Joint. And a good job too that Summers was there, and as he grounded Joint, he pulled the shoe off him as well.
All right, stand up, then. Come on up. Stand up.
Well, they're trying to play the ball pretty quickly, Saints, as mentioned before, but on a few occasions they're not even touching the football with their legs. So many people these days just roll it back.
Goulding steps around David Frace, trying to produce something for Cooper, who finds Loughlin, and Loughlin scores. A suspicion of a forward pass, perhaps, but Loughlin with a big smile, and isn't Paul Loughlin back in top form?
Long ball out wide, but Bobby Goulding, the beautiful step. If you watch for his bag of tricks and he doesn't pull out the rabbit, then you're going to be confused, and that's what occurred there. But that looks okay to me. On the line, straight as the die as far as I'm concerned. But you can't just let the Dazzler give you this. Showing the ball inside, outside, they held off him. Cooper's pass, pretty marginal. I think it was pretty straight. So did the referee.
Paul Loughlin then, 3 Ashes series behind him. He wants to force his way into Ellery Hanley's plans, and his form at the start of this season must be giving the Great Britain coach just a little nudge. And I wonder whether Bobby Goulding's form is sufficient to force his way into the Great Britain lineup also. Certainly the form scrum half in the big league at the moment, Goulding, with the kicking responsibility too. This is an even more difficult kick than the first when he hit the post, but he has measured the distance perfectly, and look at him rallying the troops for a big effort, and it's a great early lead for the Saints.
2 Bradford players circled there. You can see they're not making any movement forward. They're hanging back. The rest is history. Look at that, they held off him. You can't do that. The overlap is split, and the centre in for a great try.
Cooper will run the kick-off back then and then give it to Gibbs. Nice little cushion now for St Helens here at Odsal. Always a very difficult place to come and expect any sort of charity from this Bradford Northern team. It's Fortress Odsal this season, 4 wins from 4. But St Helens full value for their 11-point lead after 26 minutes. Joint. The tackling by Hamer. First touch for the substitute, really.
That's their biggest problem, Eddie, is that the way that they've been taking those cheap yards from the play of the ball. This defence is shot to pieces. Look, they're hanging back again.
Goulding drills the ball over the top, and it catches again. And Goulding, the man following up to tackle Neil Summers. He's inventive, he's energetic, and he is full of it at the moment, Bobby Goulding. St Helens overwhelming advantage in terms of possession. I just wonder, Steve-O, what dent would be put in the lad's confidence, Bobby Goulding this is, if he doesn't get Ellery Hanley's vote on Tuesday morning.
Don't worry, I think he'll play some major part in it. That was pretty high. Pickavance. He'll claim that he ducked underneath, but there's little doubt that Pickavance went over the shoulder. Referee picked it straight away. That would have sent the old marbles rolling a little bit. Well, he's a lucky boy.
Pickavance, a man who can play centre, prop or second row. Signed from Swinton a year ago, conceding that penalty. Hamer with his first run almost.
Most important. Knock on, another bad mistake there. Oh, offside has got them for.
Do you want to borrow these contact lenses?
Well, he used two hands there as though it was a knock on. But I bow to your superior judgment, Eduardo.
Well, on this occasion I said nothing.
That's why I bow.
It's Sullivan, brought down by Fox. Vivas to Fogarty.
That's been the problem, hasn't it, with Bradford Northern? They've never really capitalised and used their full six. Far too many errors. With plenty said about from their coach Peter Fox, and rightly so. They've not respected possession.
Quick play the ball from St Helens, as you say, causing Bradford all sorts of problems. Griffiths tackled so heavily that he lost the ball. Heron. Bradford know they need to step the pace up, and step it up they are. Powell.
Well, we still haven't seen the kick from Bradford, especially from Derek Fox. It is wet. When are we going to see it? Surely they've got to use it now.
They're 10 metres from the St Helens line. Furbank will pick himself up, play it to Donoghue. Donoghue finds Fox. Fox to Watson. Watson arcs with the run. Runs straight into the chest of Pickavance. Gets the ball away brilliantly to Furbank. And Furbank is hauled down a yard short of the line. Donoghue. Furbank eyeballing somebody. They should get on with it. They do now. Fox stopped. Released the pass to Powell. It went through his legs. And St Helens can play on with Gibbs.
Well, I still can't understand it. That's on 3 occasions Bradford have been in the scoring position. They normally use a kick. They use it in dry. When it should be used in wet, they turn it down. They try to play open football in wet conditions. They paid the price.
Bradford now trying to keep St Helens in their own half of the field in this set of 6. Joint, dragging them further up to halfway. That is the last tackle, though. 10 metres inside their own half with Goulding. Over the top from Goulding.
That came off a Bradford player, so everyone's onside.
Summers drops it. Oh, and he's tackled without the ball by Cooper. It's got to be a penalty. Sullivan thinks he's touched down. He might have done, actually, had Cooper not hung on to Summers' ankles.
Just a rush of blood there from Cooper. They'd done the hard work. Then you can see Cooper holds him down. Good refereeing by Campbell. He saw it well. Sullivan thought he was in for his second. But this is what can happen in slippy conditions by using the kick there. Saints are doing everything right. Bradford have lost their way.
Big penalty count in Bradford's favour, but they now lose the ball. I rather fancy the handling error count is very much against them. And it is 7-3, and those handling errors could prove costly as Pickavance goes on another little run, grounded by Carl Hall. Vivas the dummy half to Cooper. Cooper to Chris Joint.
Well, if my memory serves me right, I think Bradford have only actually kicked twice on completion of the 6 tackles. You can't afford to go through a game like that.
Goulding, lovely ball back to Cooper. He gets it away then to Gibbs. Prescott, and Prescott is in! Steve Prescott. A lovely pass from Goulding. Then it was slipped by Cooper to the fullback chiming in, And Steve Prescott, he was not going to be stopped.
You won't see better work tries than this. The run across from Goulding. See how he brings the defence to him, and then the arc run from Cooper. Back on the inside. It was superb play, but the fullback had to score it. It wasn't an easy run. He had to run the arc, and he got away with it. But this is where Goulding pulls the defence away. Back on the inside. Superb angle running from Cooper. Support play from the fullback is supreme. And look at the talent of this kid. St. Helens are flying high. Bradford, they're in the doldrums.
Certainly one for the future. This is his 24th appearance for St. Helens. That's his 4th try of this campaign. Steve Prescott really is re-establishing himself as St. Helens' first choice fullback in the continuing injury absence of David Lyon. Goulding adds the extra 2. The Bradford Northern side and the Bradford Northern public is shocked. 17-0.
Goulding's run across pulls 3 Bradford defenders. The arc run from Cooper. The support play from the fullback. And this is a well-worked try. Great team football.
Referee just holds the clock up. David Frace is limping off. Steve Prescott, his 3rd match in a row in which he's crossed the whitewash. So Medley is introduced because Frace is being led away, limping from the action.
Well, apart from the first 10 minutes, the opening 10 minutes, that is, from Bradford, where the defence was pretty solid, I'm afraid it's gone to sleep. They're hanging back, they're paying the penalty. I know I keep saying it, but they keep playing this ball quickly to Saints, and look at that, they are just gaining yards with ease.
Look at this run from Loughlin, the support is there from Sullivan. Oh, it's so easy, and Sullivan over underneath the sticks. The Saints are running riot at Odsal. A tremendous try, Anthony Sullivan, his 2nd. And here's another winger who is anxious to get back in the Great Britain setup.
Once again, quick play of the ball on the blind side. They were caught napping. Powell was out there. They went for the intercept. Loughlin did the rest. It was a superb time pass. Nothing that Summers could do about that. He had to take Loughlin out. And Sullivan in for the 2nd try of the game. His 2nd try, that is. But again, they've worked it on the blind side. Superb run from Joint. Then Loughlin. They were all at sea. 2 forwards were there on the blind side for Bradford. They didn't catch it. They did not sweep in. Another well-worked try.
Anthony Sullivan, remember, he scored 4 against Bradford at home and 2 here last season. So doesn't he enjoy playing Bradford Northern? Goulding adds the extras again from bang in front, and that scoreline is a real shocker for Bradford.
There you can see, look how the defence, back leg of a dog, isn't it? There's no one there. There's nothing they can do about it. Poor Watson left on his own. No one at sea. Beautiful time pass. Great combination between the centre and the winger.
Well, over the past week, the wheels have fallen off for Bradford Northern. Hammered against Warrington last Friday on Sky. And look at that scoreline now. And we're still some 3.5 minutes away from half-time. 23 points to 0.
The most amazing thing about it is that up until that Bradford versus Warrington game last week, Bradford had the best defensive record in the big league. They've just, as you say, lost the wheels.
Yes, until today, they had conceded just 97 points. St. Helens, their defensive problems were obvious with 195 against. But they can attack from anywhere, St. Helens, and in this mood, well, anything can happen. Here's Goulding. It's great to watch when St. Helens are playing like this. Great to watch, that is, unless you're a Bradford Northern fan.
Well, they're working their options, aren't they? They're running at the angles. They're confusing everything. Look at that. They're creating the overlap. He wouldn't have thanked himself there. Jonathan Griffiths looked at his skipper and said, "Thanks a million, kid."
Can Bradford snap back with a try? Great tackle. Gibbs on Watson. Heron gets away from Fogarty, finds Hall. Hall with the strength. A better run, better passage of play from Bradford there, courtesy of Hall. But he didn't make too many yards, did he?
The main thing is he showed a lot of enthusiasm. They've got to follow suit. They really have to pick themselves up.
Medley, can he inject some pace?
Well, that's the type of run that they've got to look forward to. Come on, Bradford, lift it.
And a terrific tackle from Fogarty. Here's Powell. 2 minutes to half-time, 23 points to 0, the Saints lead. Fox, little dab over the top. Was Medley onside or offside? But it doesn't matter because Fox has reclaimed the possession.
Well, it's taken them 38 minutes to realise that the kick's on against this solid Saints defence. It's a little bit late at 23-0, I feel.
Short ball from Watson to Hamer. All down by Fogarty and Beavers. Here's Fairbank, trying to drill his way to the line. So close.
Here's the reverse kick. Oh, will it come?
Well, it would, had the ball got out to Derek Fox, but Watson was tackled and lost the ball.
They haven't just lost the ball, they've lost the plot. Confusion reigns supreme. He went without the football. The tackle was good and solid. Isn't it great to see this guy back into top form, Chris Joynt, enjoying his stint, running out wide.
Yes, he's timed his return to form perfectly from a Great Britain point of view. Bradford having to do a lot more work in the tackling department, purely and simply because St Helens are running all over them in terms of possession. Goulding, not the best pass. Gibbs got a hand to it. Despite the presence of Hall, he held on. But it was on the last tackle, so it's the turnover. Saints caught in their own quarter. Here's a chance for Bradford now. Fox, Powell. No one running off Powell.
I don't think they know what a second phase of attack is.
Overwhelming superiority in terms of possession. Overwhelming superiority in terms of the scoreline. St Helens, though, having to defend here against Dixon's run. Donahue, the dummy half. Now Heron. Back inside to Powell. Again, Bradford stop and stand still.
Surely they'll use the kick.
Fox, not this time. Summers. Turpin. Good tackling by Fogarty and Cooper. This is the last tackle. Fairbank. Oh, it's very scrappy from Bradford, it really is. Their coach, Peter Fox, must be having nightmares about this.
They say pictures say 1,000 words. They're into the millions at the moment.
Griffiths, the dummy half, to Hunt. Beavers, Cooper, Fogarty. Joynt again. This fellow's in great form. Joynt with a marauding run. Oh, he's taken high by Watson. Giving it on to Loughlin. And Heron all over Loughlin, just delaying him. Joynt for the line. And Joynt scores. Joynt started it with the run. Joynt finished it with the touchdown.
Not only that, it was good refereeing from David Campbell. He knew that Chris Joynt had been taken high, but he knew the momentum was going to get him into a position. You'll see how he makes the break. It was a beautiful pass from Fogarty, but they really should have clamped him down. They went, oh, that's feeble attempt at tackling. The guy went through. Here you'll see Watson go for the head. Goes right over the top. He hits the chest. Good refereeing from Campbell, allowed it to play on. A lot of better whistleblowers would have pulled that one back. But from this quick play of the ball, Heron tried his best to slow things down, and that is simple try. He just threw a neat dummy. The defence went looking elsewhere.
Chris Joynt then. Slap bang in form, the second rower. And what a first half this has been for St Helens. 3 from 4 for Goulding. From this position, it'll be 4 from 5 and is And I doubt whether St Helens have had a better opening 40 minutes to a match all season. The boos from the Bradford Northern supporters. Sullivan with 2 tries, though. The applause is all from the men in the blue and white favours of St Helens. Lachlan has played his full part too. And Steve Prescott, his try, illuminated the first half also. What an opening 40 minutes for St Helens. They lead here by 29 points to 0. And Bradford Northern look shot to pieces. So Bradford Northern, who have a poor record against Saints in the First Division, mainly due to an horrific sequence of results at Knowsley Road, are on the wrong end of a 29-0 scoreline here at Odsal in this top match in the Stones Bidder Championship. Has the half-time interval arrived at the right moment for Bradford? Has it come at the wrong moment for the Saints? Don't forget, after this match tonight, all the tries from the First Division following on from the final siren here. The kick from Goulding is charged down, and then the referee said it's play on.
And he's right as well. The substitute charged that ball down. That means that he ruled 6 more.
Cooper to Fogarty. Viva's gone into the dummy half role. Goulding, Griffiths, Cooper, Lachlan. Lachlan trying to stride through the defence. Neil Summers, though, stuck to him like glue. Here's Sullivan, a man on a hat-trick. Takes St Helens to the 20-metre mark.
Once again, we see from the dummy half making those cheap yards. Sullivan caught an injury then.
Goulding, and the ball is caught behind his own line on the full by David Turpin.
Not the best kick from Bobby Goulding, and he knows it, but it was well taken by the youngster Turpin. Defused the bomb.
Not the best day to come in for your first match of the season, is it, for David Turpin? Only 21, and his only appearance last season was also against St Helens here. Former Dudley Hill amateur. The man wearing 2 for Bradford Northern this afternoon. Here's Carl Hall. There's no doubt about it that Bradford have certainly missed Paul Newlove, but Steve-O, the way that this match has progressed, not even Newlove could have done much about this situation.
He probably would have helped a little bit in the defensive quality as well, but Saints really are firing. They're on all cylinders. But Bradford, let's hope that their coach, Peter Fox, would have had plenty to say to them.
High kick. Underneath it, Prescott, under no pressure, really. And he gets away from those 2 challenges as if they weren't there. Now Hunt. Alan Hunt's been pretty quiet. Hauled down by Medley.
Never played that ball, Alan Hunt. Facing the wrong way, too. Facing the touchline.
Got to tidy up this play of the ball, haven't we? That's, I think, one of the #1 matters on the agenda for Greg McCallum. Forward pass from Griffiths, only a mile.
Everyone saw that. Says it all, doesn't it?
Jonathan Griffiths' forward pass, and Tommy Martin has come onto the field for St Helens for Anthony Sullivan, the man who scored the 2 tries in the first half. Took a bit of a bang in the tackle early on, did Sullivan, and so Tommy Martin comes on. Came through a reserve game on Friday night. He's missed 9 so far this season, and anxious to get back into the flow of things. Important for St Helens, they've named an unchanged side from last week for this match after the beating of Leeds at Knowsley Road, which we saw on Sky, remember. That's Hamer with the run, stopped within 10 metres of the line. It's the last tackle. Now, can Derek Fox conjure something up here? Well, the ball had to be picked up off his bootlaces almost. The kick wasn't the best. Gibbs picks it up. He finds Prescott.
What a big game those 2 are having, Prescott and Scott Gibbs. Really has impressed me, the former Rugby Union one, Scott Gibbs. In super form.
Griffiths, St Helens are there in numbers when the man is tackled. They're there to support. Not that time, though, when Cooper took the tackle from Medley. Vivas switches the direction of the attack to Neil. Neil delayed just at the last minute, gave it to Pickavance, who promptly gave it to David Myers.
Did well then, did Myers. He knew that they were in a lot of trouble. Put himself between the ball carrier and the ball receiver. Readied superbly.
Powell is grounded. That's the 20-metre mark for St Helens that they are defending. This is Heron. Bradford need a try, and quickly too.
But where's the support?
Well, he was looking round and there was nobody coming. Hamer driving towards the posts. Again, he looks over his shoulder. No one there. Bradford Northern really are plodding at the moment. They need to inject something. Can Medley produce it? No, he's held by Cooper and by Joint. 2 metres short of the line. Watson spins the long ball to nobody. The impetus is gone. Last tackle. Fairbank dabbing it forward. The wheels have well and truly dropped off the Bradford Northern bandwagon.
Well, when you see their performance today and how they played against Warrington last week, they never had any wheels to start with. It really was just total confusion. Watson threw the ball anywhere. Fairbank was left with the option to kick. That was it.
Pickavance, strong run again. Donahue, Hamer there. Goulding, lovely ball to Martin. Tommy Martin back inside to Cooper. Cooper with Goulding in support. 3 men out wide. A good job. The Turpin got a hand to that because it would have been try time again.
He took the gamble, did the youngster, but what a beautiful pass inside to Martin. Goulding, the architect. Cooper kept it alive. Goulding, as ever, supporting the play there. There was only Summers left on his own there, and Turpin did well.
Martin to Gibbs, to Prescott. Well, everything is coming off for St Helens. It's sticking to them like glue, isn't it? This very greasy football. Here's Gibbs again.
But look how far the defence is. They're just standing there. They're not moving forward.
Goulding gets it away to Joint. He was stopped by Donahue. Didn't like the second bite that Donahue had at him. Referee says play on as Loughlin goes on a run. So close again, the Saints. Goulding, big gap ahead of Goulding. He finds Cooper. Last tackle. Little sign from Phil Vivas. Told them he was coming this way. Martin dabbed it through. Prescott try! Yes! Steve Prescott got the fingertip to it. And St Helens cut through Bradford Northern's defence again.
This is a planned move. Tommy Martin shapes to do the drop kick, but actually puts the grubber through, and the full-back, Prescott, knew exactly where to go. They really have just split this defence like a hot knife through butter. There it is. They looked as though they were going to go for the drop goal, but the full-back knew it was going to go on the ground. Gets the fingertips to it. Referee David Campbell looks at the touch judge. It's okay. Nice call. Look at that. Oh, that is superb play. Caught Bradford napping once again.
So Steve Prescott, what a match he is having. It's his 9th game at fullback, and he has punctuated it here with 2 tries. And Goulding again from bang in front, makes no mistake. St Helens 35, Bradford Northern 0. You could have put your mortgage on this. It would never have happened, surely.
There you can see the fullback Steve Prescott is not offside. He's just behind the kicker. But this is a superb passage of play. Lovely to watch.
An incredible scoreline at Odsal. They lost here last April, did St Helens, but remember, they inflicted Bradford's heaviest defeat of the season in the game at Knowsley Road. 54 points to 3 it was. A result which may have cost Bradford the big league title last season. It was decided, remember, only on points difference, and at 35-0, with less than 10 minutes of this second half to go, they're on course for another 50 points here, St Helens. What a blow this is to Bradford's championship hopes.
What a constructive game we've also seen from Phil Beavers. Played every position on the park for St Helens, including prop.
Lovely support play. Cooper. Goulding's there. Prescott wants the hat-trick. Cooper, well, he was a little greedy there. He should have passed, but the captain held on and lost the ball, and Myers, credit him. He makes 13 metres with the confusion reigning behind him. But that could so easily have been another St Helens try. Here come Bradford with Fox. Now with Donahue. Donahue with pace. Being roared on. Out to Turpin. Oh, what a tackle, Scott Gibbs.
Super play, end-to-end stuff. And you could see that Turpin had to slow down to get someone in the half-back position.
There's Heron. And he's stopped by the post waddling. And Heron hauled back. But Bradford so close. It's now with Watson. Hall, was that a knock-on? The ball went backwards, says referee Campbell. Watson supports him. Watson twisting, finding Fox. This is more like it from Bradford. Martin with the tackle. Powell trying to twist his way to the line. It's the last tackle. Watson, long pass. Dixon's in. At last for Bradford.
Well, what should have been a try to St Helens, it came about from Bradford after a wonderful passage of play from them, probably their best of the game. It started with Cooper through there. Now the experience of Cooper, really, he should have had that ball out wide. The try went begging. It was knocked out by Summers. That there was little doubt. Referee said play on. That's a long ball from Watson. In for the try is Paul Dixon. And didn't they need it? They were well and truly on the rack again.
Paul Dixon, that was the 135th try of his career, spanning 400 games plus. Derek Fox makes the conversion. At last, Bradford have got something to cheer about, but a scoreline like that, very little to smile about. 35-6.
You see how it all started with Fox on the thing, is that Jason Donahue, look at the speed, formerly a halfback of course, but didn't this guy do well? But what a great tackle there from Scott Gibbs. Full credit though to David Turpin. In fact, when Turpin got up to play that ball, he had to actually wait to find someone to get into the dummy half position. That just shows you that it took a while for Bradford to realise they were in a scoring position. But it was Watson's long pass out to Dixon that earned them the first try of the game.
And here comes Dixon again, the try scorer. Jonathan Neal has been withdrawn by the Saints, and Apollo Perolini comes on. So his introduction to the big league continues. It's a luxury that they can bring a player like Perolini on with a scoreline like that, 35-6, to keep the learning curve going for the former Western Samoan Rugby Union international.
Well, that would have jolted the Saints' confidence. They really were running high, weren't they? Inside passes, little runarounds, the flick pass, everything was going right. Oh, that's a real meal. It's got to be a penalty. You must roll away. Do not interfere to play the ball. There you can see he is not rolled away. No doubt about it. Phil Beavers gave away the penalty. Doesn't matter whether you're hurt or not. If you're hurt, you stay still, receive a treatment, and then play the ball 5 meters in.
You're a hard man.
If he moves, then he's not hurt. He's not classified as being hurt.
Amazing, though, isn't it, that Bradford got that six-pointer in the end. And at the other end, had Cooper passed the ball inside, Beavers, by the way, looks okay, the shoulder repaired. Had Cooper passed the ball inside up the other end, that St Helens would have been over for another try. End-to-end stuff.
Nice to see. This could be the little bit of a jolt that Bradford needed, because they really had gone to sleep.
Well, the gap's a mere 29 points.
Still a long way to go.
I was going to say, they've got plenty of time, because in the first half, St Helens ran in 4 tries in 16 minutes. So it can easily happen. Watson got the ball away. They keep the momentum going. Donahue to Hamer. Hamer, one-handed, tried to get it round the corner, and that's better defence from Bradford at last. They've picked up a gear.
Good run from Hamer. He tried to keep the ball alive. Goulding got in the way. His position was well. But look how the subs came through here. Come on, Prezi, you're going right over. Well, the 2 substitutes create... Oh, I thought he'd knock on then.
Given the benefit of the doubt by David Campbell.
Off the chest, but those 2 substitutes really have just lifted a gear for them.
Here's Fairbank.
And let's face it, Eddie, we've seen in the past couple of seasons, Saints have the capabilities of just dropping apart themselves.
Slip from Heron. Found Powell, though.
Well, will the kick be used in this half from Bradford? They didn't use it in the first one.
And Loughlin, he didn't steal it, he was presented it. Finds Griffiths. Griffiths gives it to Martin. Martin's got Bobby Goulding with him, and Jonathan Griffiths. Over the top it goes to Prescott, and Prescott finds that Goulding is there. The swarming back Bradford. It's Prescott again. It's on down to the ground. It's a knock-on. It's no try.
Well, try to force the pass when they didn't need to.
Credit Bradford for the defence, though. It was terrific chasing back.
Certainly was. There's Martin trying to get on the inside. He steps into it. Wonderful scrambling defence. They kept it alive. Full-back Prescott trying to keep him there, and Bobby Goulding step in, but once again Paul Medley's defence. Turpin came in, did the impact tackle. He saved the day in the end. And it certainly wasn't stolen by the centre Paul Loughlin. It was given to him.
And in that movement of play, they went from one end of the field to the other, St Helens. And I lost count of the number of pair of hands it went through.
Well, all excitement for the fans.
Steve O'Bradford are enjoying their best spell of this match, and they're 35-6 down. Where were they first half?
Well, it's obviously that they've realised they've got to get back into the game. It's the first time that they've really started to utilise playing out the full 6. If you don't use your full complement, there's no chance of you getting back into the game. They're doing that now. Kicking game coming to the fore, which you've seen so often in the past from Derek Fox. Missing in the first half. There's a possession. Definitely been Bradford's second half so far.
And Bradford get the possession from that scrum. They were looking for the mistake. And Goulding fed it, and the ball didn't come out cleanly, and Derek Fox accepted the gift. Here's Medley. Fox to Watson. In support is Fox. Grounded by Tommy Martin. Bit of help from Chris Joint. Donahue. Nowhere through for him there. Fox, little knock on from Derek Fox.
Just hasn't been his day. And it is just the fingertips, but it was enough. Not the best play of the ball. Geez, he's been scrappy around that area today. Being totally outplayed, I'm afraid, is Derek Fox today by Bobby Goulding. But it has been behind a defeated pack. This St Helens 6 really have given it to the Bradford.
Here's Prescott again. Tommy Martin. Perellini. Vivas to Fogarty. Pickavance. Strong run from the second row of Pickavance. Hasn't been shifted from the team since Eric Hughes arrived at Knowsley Road. Martin, little grubber downfield. Griffiths is after it. Turpin there too. Turpin picks up the pieces. Watson, nowhere to go.
Good kick and chase game once again from St. Helens. Good passage of play also by the Saints there, because they realised that Bradford were hitting their best patch in attack, so they just slowed things down, used up the full 6, made sure that the kick was a good one.
Hull against Wigan, don't forget, Friday the 28th of October, the Friday after the Test match. Myers, a former Wigan player, now earning his corn here at Bradford, just couldn't keep his footing on this greasy surface. Fox on the last tackle, drills one over the top. Cooper a bit lethargic in collecting it, gets the ball away to Prescott, and Prescott adjudged to have knocked that ball on. St. Helens just starting to doze a little bit, and this won't please their coach Eric Hughes.
Well, how on earth he got that to be a knock-on forward is beyond me. Definitely got a fingertip to it. It was going backwards. Still, it should never have been attempted pass from Cooper. Possession should have been vital. They've lost the marbles a little bit.
Watson, he's got support from Turpin, and Turpin scores. Well, are Bradford on the way back? His first try of the season for 21-year-old David Turpin, crowning his first appearance of the season.
And he fully deserves this. Came in from the right wing to get out wide. Good run, though, from Carl Hall. The big, strong man got the ball away. Nice step inside. And David Turpin fully deserved that. He's worked hard on the Bradford side, mainly in defence. But for the first time, he's shown that he can support the man with the ball, involved in the session of play twice.
David Turpin well pleased with that. And Derek Fox will be well pleased with that, because that now takes his tally for Bradford to over 500 points. That goal, Derek Fox makes it Bradford Northern 12, St. Helens 35.
You're watching Sky.
Well, 17.5 minutes left for play here at Odsal. I wonder whether Bradford Northern can come back. 35-12, they have certainly picked up a gear, but I'm afraid they picked up a gear when it was just a little bit too late at 35 points to nil. But is it too late?
Well, a penalty's been given for reaping the ball away in the tackle. Some as it was that took the ball away. There it is. Little hand from the centre, Paul Loughlin. Well picked up by referee David Campbell. Yeah, it's a matter of pride now for this Bradford side. They really were looking down the battle of maybe 50 points.
Donahue almost away. Let's have a look how these two sides have finished. Bradford have scored 32% of their tries in the final quarter. St. Helens have hardly conceded any, to be fair. So it's pretty even Steven in that department. It'll be a very interesting 16.5 minutes or so. Little kick over the top from Hall. Watched by Griffiths. Steve-O, if they do come back here, this will be the comeback of all time.
Yeah, it certainly would. It's amazing that, but they're using the kicking game a little bit more now, and Carl Hall, who's been probably one of the most industrious of their players today, he's shown a little bit of effort to get into it, but it's far too late from Bradford Northern. Unless they can take the gamble, I'm not so sure that they are capable of doing that. Got to play out the 6 again. Surely St. Helens will slow things down now. Use the big forwards to just grind it right the way down the middle, and then use the kicking game Hope for the mistake from Bradford.
Better defence, though, this from Bradford. Last tackle here, Vivas. They've decided to run it with Hunt. Vivas is there. Gets the ball away off the floor. Referee says he was tackled, so it's the turnover.
Well, he's pretty lucky that he wasn't penalised for that. Bradford would have been quite happy to get another 30 or 40 yards with a kick, I'm sure. Either way, they're in possession of the football. Seconds against them. Ticking away is the clock.
Dixon with that run. A quarter of an hour of this match remaining then. Bradford, I suppose they can take a little bit of comfort. They are winning the second half. Medley. It won't be any comfort, though, to Peter Fox.
No.
They're winning it in terms of possession, hands down. I know I went into the dressing room and saw Peter Fox and Nigel Stevenson after the Wallington match last week. You talk to them at your peril because they weren't terribly pleased. I don't think they will be too impressed with what they've seen here today, but Scott Gibbs with that run, and what a crunching tackle on him from Carl Hall and David Watson.
It had to be as well, because he just fended off two before him, swatted them away like flies. He's had a great game as Scott Gibbs. Bradford in a lot of trouble, of course. David Turpin gone in from the wing into the centres, and Neil Summers out on the right wing, badly injured.
Here's Martin. Martin's there, Joint is there, Watson's all round him, but he can't stop him. Joint's second. Watson was swung round like a little doll then off the shoulders of Joint, and Joint's second try this afternoon, and that will surely put paid to any thoughts of Bradford's comeback.
Nice comeback there. You can see the second row. Ian Pickervan's kept it alive. Vivas, then the substitute. Look at him. Martin, sorry. Get the ball out wide. He's played his part since he came on. Beautiful try from Chris Joint. Bit of a problem, though, as I mentioned before, that Neil Summers injured on the right wing, and this is where they attacked. It's St. Helens. Nice little dummy there from Martin. A clever little footballer. Look, he just held it up superbly, didn't he? There was nothing that could stop this big fella going over, though.
Chris Joint, rich vein of form. Good for St. Helens, great for Britain. Goulding then, 5 out of 6 today. And he hits the post for the second time. 39-12.
Look how Martin just pulls the defence to him. It's a beautiful little dummy. Then gets it. There it goes. Super play. Timed his pass to perfection. Nothing that Watson could do. Upper body strength of Joint takes him over.
So Bradford restart. Martin underneath the kickoff. Here comes Loughlin.
They spun up a lot of tackles under Bradford today. Gone far too high, in my opinion. It's hard to think that Bradford, just 2 games before this, had by far the best defensive record. I think they were averaging about 8.2 against them each game. Well, that's certainly changed, hasn't it? Look at that scoreline, 39-12.
Loughlin drops it under pressure from Medley. Summers wants to get on with it.
Never really took control of that. Full credit to Summers, he was moving in, even though he's hampered by an injury.
Handling errors, 18 of them, 10 by Bradford. Fox indicating the ball is going left, and indeed it does, through the arms of Watson and Heron, and then Myers to Turpin, grounded by Alan Hunt. Here's Myers. The tackling by Perolini. Watson. Hall. Referee said the tackle was completed with Hall on his feet, with Fox with the side footer over the top. And Prescott just watched it and allowed it to run through his legs and trickle over the dead ball line. Saints will restart with this tap on their own 20-metre line. Chance for Perolini to have a run.
With still 10 minutes remaining of this game, St. Helens, I'm sure, will be looking for getting to the 40 mark. They're eager. They realise it's just as important for them to post a try late in the game as I'm sure Bradford need to. Bradford are only playing for pride now.
And Medley went for the intercept, and it almost came off for him. Had that stuck, he'd have been over.
Read it well, did Medley, but just couldn't hang on to it. Got to take the gamble. It was easy straight to the whitewash.
Bobby Goulding then feeding this scrum for St. Helens. Cooper came round the back and picked up as the scrum wheeled.
How many times has St. Helens pack wheeled it the right way and create confusion, allowed the gap for Saints to utilise the blind? That's about the 4th, 5th time I've seen it today.
Here's Vivers. Now Prescott. Goulding with a little chip over the top looking for Hunt. Hunt steamed onto it and Hunt's over. That's easy. That's so easy. Goulding with a little kick over the top and Hunt said that's going to be mine. And that's try number 15 of the season. And he's starting to celebrate in his own unique style too.
Well, as he got a fever, he looked to be itching and laughing at the same time, but it was a beautiful little kick over the top there. It was a planned move, little doubt about that in my mind. Bobby Goulding, a superb little chip over the top. Well, what we were calling for Bradford to do in the first half was use the kicking game. Saints certainly have in this second half. Look at that, determination. There was never any doubt in my mind or in that man's mind that the 4 points was going to be coming towards him. Give us a jiggle.
Alan Hunt, the break dancer, and Alan Hunt, the try scorer. 15th try this highly productive season. And will Alan Hunt be dancing all the way to Wembley with Great Britain next Saturday? Will this fellow, Bobby Goulding? Sean Edwards, great player that he is, great leader, and of course the captain now, as Goulding adds the extra 2. But there is the form scrum half in the big league, Bobby Goulding.
Neat little chip over the top. There's no sweeper there. They're all at sea. Alan Hunt, the most determined of all in the heavy traffic zone, rewarded.
Alan Hunt, a quiet game for him in many ways before then. But it's now a post-war record score for St. Helens here at Odsal. Best before today, 24 years ago, when they won by 42 points to 3. 45 points to 12 now.
Indeed, a big drubbing for the Bradford Northern side. St. Helens, though, to be fair, they have played exceptionally well. The game plan has been good. Goulding running the angles. So have the forwards. The support players been there. And so has the defence. I'm sure their coach, Eric Hughes, will be very pleased with this.
Joint dabs the ball forward, but, well, Phil Vivers says that he got a toe to the ball as it came out of his hands.
Well, I don't know how he can get it. It's pretty hard to see there. Vivers not happy.
He's a wily old character, though, is Vivers, isn't he? Well, I think he might have done.
Yeah, he did. He got a foot to it. Wasn't a knock on. Either way, a little bit of a grin. Been around as long as me, I think, as Phil.
He won't like you for saying that.
Well, maybe not as quite as long. Same hairstyle, perhaps.
Well, now you have upset him. Perolini's tackle on halfway. On his opposite number, John Hamer.
It's so important now for Bradford. I'm sure the message is out from their coach, Peter Fox. Come on, let's post a try, let's give us something to cheer on.
Untidy. Bradford have it back with Powell. And Powell's not throwing the towel in. Was that a knock-on from Heron? It looked suspicious, but the referee says play on. And Prescott came across and picked up the pieces.
Nice little pat on the back there from Carl Fairbank. He realised the quality of the fullback there. Put his body on the line, put his body in between the on-rushing tacklers and the football. Excellent skills.
Alan Hunt to Cooper, Cooper to Martin, Martin out wide to Loughlin. Support is there from Griffiths. Griffiths being tracked by Medley. Good chase back by Paul Medley. Good defence from Bradford, but quick play the ball again from St Helens. Martin, Cooper, Fogarty. Fogarty driving straight and just hauled down, loses the ball. Play on. Myers picks up and finds Summers.
Well, he couldn't really blame the prop forward Adam Fogarty to try to keep the ball alive. When you got 45 points already on the board, why not? You can force the pass, you can afford to do it.
Fox to Dixon. Dixon to Hamer, and that's a knock-on.
That there is no doubt. Well, they're trying, aren't they, Bradford, really, but it has not been their day. Never really taken control of this game, or in fact, got into this game. Their best passage of play came midway through the second half when, unfortunately, the 2 points were going towards Saints and that man, Bobby Goulding.
Less than 4 minutes to go. Bradford will be anxious for that final siren, but St Helens won't be. They want to add to this points tally. We know how important points difference has been over the past 2 seasons to both these clubs. Both denied the championship on points difference in successive seasons, and St Helens really want to rub salt in the wound here.
They're looking for the 50, and I'm sure that Bobby Goulding will have another little trick up his sleeve.
It's with Cooper. They've all gone for Goulding. Cooper hangs on. Levers. There's Goulding now. Short ball. Look forward to Pickavance, but they're in. The referee's given it, and Scott Gibbs has come up with the 4.
Well, that was definite forward in my book. He's missed that one. Not that it has any bearing on the result of this game, but full credit to Saints for keeping it alive. It was Bobby Goulding who'd been platted before this. Substitute, there it is. Beautiful pass again from Joint. And Scott Gibbs, he finishes off a fine game in my opinion. Nice little pass there. Martin again involved himself. And Scott Gibbs in for the 4 points, but I think the last one looked forward to me. That one there to Joint was also forward, should I say, from Pickavance. As far as I'm concerned, a lot of problems for Bradford Northern's defence once again.
Scott Gibbs, his first try was on Sky, his second try in the big league in front of our cameras. Bobby Goulding then. St Helens on the verge of 50 points. If he kicks this, Saints have come here and got the half-century up. He's got a chance. Oh, not a problem. The delight on Bobby Goulding's face says it all. Bradford 12, St Helens 51.
Look how Bobby Goulding just pulls the defence to him. Superb pass there. Tommy Martin filling in. Second rower Ian Pickavance sends the ball out wide. Super try, but there was a forward pass in it for mine. It makes no difference. The Saints are well and truly on their way.
Remarkable scoreline this when you consider the way St Helens started their season off. 2 defeats, Doncaster and Warrington, but since then they have now gone 8 matches unbeaten, and Eric Hughes is slowly but surely piecing together a very, very good side.
They're working as a unit, aren't they? The pack works hard, but they're not just making it into a one-out situation. That's been a key area, running from the dummy half. They've just crucified Bradford all day.
Goulding's ball bounced off a Bradford player. Watson said, I'll have that. he's conceded enough points for his liking as the Bradford full-back.
Watson having a few words to say to Bobby Goulding. Goulding says a few words back. In between was a referee called David Campbell. He said, cool it, lads. Sticks and stones. Words, well, they never do hurt you. But it was getting a little bit excitable. Just a little push from Goulding. Watson didn't like it.
Referees penalised Goulding for talking out of turn. So Bradford will finish on the attack. We're now in the hands of the timekeepers in the stand.
An ironic cheer from the crowd when Powell finally passed that football. They can be so cruel sometimes, the fans, when your team's losing.
Some disillusioned Bradford Northern supporters, but some very, very happy St Helens supporters watching on Sky tonight and here at Odsal in person to see this destruction of Bradford Northern, because that is what it has been. Donahue will keep things going, one-on-one against Prescott. Prescott stood up to the challenge well. There's the siren, but the referee will play out till the next tackle, and that's it. It's all over now. And Chris Joynt, with his try, has done his claims for the Great Britain jersey no harm at all. Indeed, all the St Helens players, all three of them, Alan Hunt is the second of the Great Britain hopefuls. They have done their chances of being included in the Wembley Test a power of good, and Bobby Goulding once again emphasising that he's the form scrum half in the big league. His enthusiasm, his spirit, it's infectious in the St Helens camp, and it's Saints who run in the easiest of winners by 51 points to 12.
You're watching Sky Sport.
What a win for St Helens then. 51 points to 12, over 7,000 here to see it. Sullivan with 2 tries, Prescott with 2 and Joynt with 2. The rest from Lachlan, Hunt and Gibbs, and Bobby Goulding on form with the boot again. So Steve Prescott, his 9th appearance of the season at full-back, and he marked it with 2 tries. Steve Prescott, what a tremendous win that was.
Yeah, brilliant. We knew what we had to do when we come. Eric sold us, we had to win. We had to win big style as well. We've got a 2-week layoff now at the end of this game. So hope for the Aussies coming. You never know, do you? Open rugby there, open rugby. See what happens. Brilliant win though, can't get over it.
Chris George, a great win for St Helens, and your weekend will be completed if Ellery gives you the nod on Tuesday.
Yes, it's all up to Ellery on Tuesday. It's Central Park. I hope I'm on the team sheet.
Eric, you seem to be assembling quite a team.
Yeah, today was a really good day for us. We're getting players coming back from injury. I've got a few more just around the corner. I'm going to have a few problems of the other kind shortly, and that is I'm going to have to leave good players out, which was really, since I've taken over at Saints, I've not had that problem. It's been a case of filling in because of the injury crisis, but things are starting to come together at long last, yeah.
It's, I'm sure, a problem you'll be looking forward to, but at the same time, how on earth will you be able to leave any of these out?
Well, basically, I've just got to play the lads in form, and if the lads have got the shirts in and they're doing the job and they're coming up with wins like this, they can't be left out. And the lads who are returning from injury will just have to be patient.
There are the stats from this match. Team tackling equally shared in the end. Scrums 8-9 to St Helens. Penalties 9-1 to Bradford. Handling errors, level pegging. And it was St Helens half in the first 40 minutes, and Bradford Northern took the honours in the second half. So a wonderful win for St Helens, and who would have thought they would have come here to Odsal and scored 51 points against a Bradford Northern team that was previously unbeaten here at Odsal in 7 matches stretching back to last season. 51 points represents a post-war record tally for the Saints on this ground. Steve-O, the Saints are back and they're playing with a smile on their face.
Certainly are, and they're smiling very, very well indeed, because this performance today is probably the best I've seen from St Helens for about 3 or 4 seasons, and I really do think they will push Wigan all the way in this championship.
Well, St Helens make ground then on Bradford Northern at the top of the table. They are now third clear on their own, just a point adrift of Bradford Northern, who stays second in the league table. Well, coming next, we have the highlights of all the other matches played in the Stones Bitter Championship today. All the tries from around the country, some great tries, some great action.
Seize the day.
Botica withdrew from the Wigan side during the pre-match warm-up with a torn stomach muscle injury. He'll have an operation later this week, but no problems for Dennis Betts, 4-0. Some super teamwork led to the second try. Farrell, Ofaya and Tuigamala giving Robinson the space to move into and the opportunity for a victory roll. Again, some lovely ball handling skills gave Wigan another touchdown. Watch out for Paul's lovely flick behind his back and Martin Ofaya finishing the move off. Salford had lost in 14 consecutive matches at Central Park. There was no doubt it was going to be 15 when Tuigamala sold Salford a couple of lovely dummies before touching down. Cowie and Hall provided the ammunition for Dennis Betts to run in his second try of the afternoon. Salford simply weren't at the races, and when Naylor lost the ball, Connolly said thank you very much, and Tuigamala joined Betts on the 2-try mark. 36-0 at half-time, and the match was lost. But to their credit, Salford did battle back in the second half. And Aussie fullback Scott Mahon burst over after a good Salford build-up. Mahon looks like a bit of a pinball wizard, and after Gregory's pass ricocheted off a Wigan player, Mahon reacted quickly to take the ball and score. Wigan retaliated when Edwards, Paul and Tuigamala fed the strong-running Gary Connolly. 40-12 for Wigan. Gregory, Panaper and Randall spun the ball wide for Nathan McAvoy, and the youngster did very well indeed to shake off the attentions of the Wigan defence to dive over. The Wigan crowd screamed forward when Ford received that pass, but Phil Ford, blushing though he may have been, went on, and the Wigan defence and even the post couldn't stop him. Now, probably the try of the day. A Martin Ofaya special from one end of the field to the other. How Ellery Hanley and Great Britain could do with something like this next week at Wembley. Jason Robinson scored the final try. Edwards, Clark and Hall provided him with the ball. Salford have a board meeting tomorrow. Recent poor displays are bound to be on the agenda.
Gary Schofield had a point to prove against the man who replaced him in the British squad, Darryl Powell. It was Schofield's pass which found Alan Tate. Tate in the centre, Holroyd at full-back, Fallon over in the corner. Sheffield, though, hit back to level the scores when David Maiko found the Leeds defence wanting at the play the ball. And it was Schofield's pass out wide which produced Fallon's second try, though Bright Sodji should have held him out. Next, the response from Darryl Powell, a beautiful run from midway inside his own half, and he drew 2 men before the support arrived from the Australian Paul Carr. Sheffield ahead, 10 points to 12. Good work next by Leeds in keeping the ball alive. Schofield to Onta, and though the Frenchman's pass won't be the best under pressure, George Mann picked up the pieces, fed substitute Phil Hassan, and Sheffield again were beaten out wide. It was the Schofield-Ontat double act which began the move for the next try. Holroyd linking in too, and Fallon over for his hat-trick. Onta was revelling in the space he was being given, and his pass found New Zealand international Gary Mercer. The Eagles' defence couldn't lay a hand on him. 24-14. But credit Sheffield for sticking to their guns. Richard Price dummied his way over 24-18. But the Leeds win was wrapped up by Gary Schofield, his pass to Fallon, and when the winger was tackled, Schofield was in support, and his try drew the biggest cheer of the day.
I'm not sure whether it's charity week up in Cumbria this week, but Workington was certainly in a generous mood at Wilderspool. Armstrong had kicked Workington into the lead when O'Donnell on his debut failed to catch Davis' kick, and Bateman's grubber allowed Mark Foster to score his 10th try of the season. Greg Mackey instigated the move, which he was to finish for Warrington's second try. Bateman and Foster provided the opening for Mackey to touchdown, 8-2. But then Workington got back into the game with a try which is something of a Stuart Cocker trademark. Bruce Maguire mugged at the play of the ball. Excellent soccer skills, good try. Workington then got a second try 2 minutes later. John T. Gawley went through the gap and fed Paul Burns, who even had the temerity to score under the posts. The conversion put the visitors ahead. But oh, worky. From here on in, the Cumbrians simply committed Harry Carey. Young Lee Smith's error giving Francis Maloney the simplest of tries. If you could forgive young Smith for that, it was difficult to find much sympathy for Workington in this comedy of errors. Warrington pounced on the Cumbrians' weakness, and Mackey waltzed over for his second try. Mackey and Maloney set up Warrington's 5th try, and the pace of New Zealander Kelly Shelford was too much for an overworked defence. 32-12 at half-time. Shelford was replaced by Wainwright for the second half, but there was no respite for Workington. Jonathan Davis scoring his 16th point of the game. Greg Mackey's floated pass gave fullback Lee Penny a half chance, but he still showed a good deal of determination. Pickering was sin-binned, by the way, for that head-high tackle. Workington were a demoralised outfit now, and Thursfield's tap and pass sent Paul Cullen in. Jonathan Davis scored his second try with some help from Mackey and Maloney, but Davis still seemed like an antelope racing through grazing buffalo as he scored. Sorry, Workington were then reduced to 11 men at the end. White had been sent off as Fawcett was sin-binned, and Davis' tap penalty let Yistin Harris in. Warrington weren't finished though. Foster to Francis Maloney. Easy. Jonathan Davis scored 28 points on his own.
Bottom of the table, Hull hadn't won before today, but they led early on against Wakefield. Jez Cassidy taking the pass from centre Nia David, and he powered over. But back came Wakefield with a fine try of their own. Nigel Wright began the move, but it was the surging run from Mike Forshaw that caught the eye. And when he was stopped, hooker Lee Hanlon carried it on. David Bailey in support, a fine try. And Trinity grabbed a second try a minute later. Nigel Wright at the play of the ball, diving over. Wakefield ahead then at half-time. 2 penalty goals from Terry Smirk levelled the scores, and then the little scrum half was at the heart of the move, which gave Hull the lead again. A lovely reverse pass and Chico Jackson over for the try. Back came Wakefield again. Ian Gildart lucky to get away with the fumble. Mark Shields with the pass, and Gary Christie somehow evaded 4 defenders to the line. This time, though, Hull were not to be denied. Tim Street's grubber kick through caused pandemonium in the Wakefield defence. Steve McNamara with the vital touch, 18-22. Wakefield levelled again, though, when the long pass out wide completely fooled the Hull defence. David Nelson with the simplest of tries. A Smirk drop goal 4 minutes from time put Hull back in front, but the win was sealed when Tavita Vaikona beat the cover in the corner, and a win at long last.
Doncaster were thrashed 72-0 by Halifax last week, but they bounced back this week all right. Richard Russell started a move which he finished, though, to put Castleford ahead. But Doncaster got back into it when Jamie Bloom, back from suspension, scored the first of 3 tries. Centre Vila Matatui pushed Doncaster in front, quite literally, with this strong run. Memo from Doncaster coach Tony Fisher to club secretary. Please buy some studs for our scrum half. John Ray was the beneficiary of Alex Green's slip. Tony Miller supplied the pass for Jamie Bloom to get his second try to nose the home side back in front, but Bloom's aggression really made it. Cass were making their first visit to Tattersfield since 1972, and they were determined to try to keep a good winning sequence prior to that. Graham Steadman, the scorer. But Bloom's presence lifted Doncaster, and Green set up Mike Neal for another Doncaster touchdown. Brendan Carlisle then gave Doncaster a little bit of breathing space after he received Matatui's pass. 26-16. Then Jamie Bloom completed his hat-trick. The South African really in blistering form. John Ray scored for Cass with help from Sampson and Tony Smith. Ray finishing the move off. And Castleford got the final try when Steadman and Kemp set up Dean Sampson for him to bundle the ball over the line. But a good win for Doncaster.
Now the results from today, beginning with the tour match at Halifax. Halifax 12, the Australians 26. A creditable performance by Halifax. On to the championship, the first division results. Oldham 29, Widnes 0 on Friday, and St Helens the big winners here at Odsal this afternoon. Doncaster 35, Castleford 28, Leeds 30, Sheffield 18, Wakefield 22, Hull 29, Warrington 64, Workington 12, and Wigan 52, Salford 22. So Wigan march on at the top. Bradford stays second despite their big defeat today. St Helens now third on their own, and Doncaster come back into the top 8. At the bottom, a win for Hull at last, and so they move off the foot of the table. Workington now go there after their big defeat against Warrington. Into the second division, results here. Batley 10, Swinton 6, Carlisle 28, Highfield 8, Hull Kingston Rovers 0, Barrow 1, Keighley 66, Hunslet 10, London 40, Bramley 12, Rochdale 52, Lee 16, Rydale York 22, Dewsbury 30, and Whitehaven 24, Huddersfield 18. So a shock then for Hull Kingston Rovers, beaten by Barrow by just the drop goal. Keighley, they push on. They're ahead now by a point from Batley. Down at the bottom, Barrow's coach Peter Rowe is celebrating his first victory tonight, and what a win it was at Hull Kingston Rovers. Highfield inevitably lost again. Now coming up on the big league, we take a break because of the international next weekend, but we return on the Friday following, the 28th of October at 7, with Hull against Wigan. Hull with that win today, and Wigan the leaders of the big league. Same weekend, it's Wales against Australia on the Sunday, including highlights again from all the first division games. Wales against the Kangaroos, 7:30, and we'll have Boots and All for you on Tuesday night at 7, and Boots and All this week presented from Wembley Stadium, the scene of the first test. Because of the test, we're not here next week. Don't forget to join us on the 28th for Hull and Wigan. Till then, from all of us at Odsal, goodbye.